To go ahead and get down into this whole quote unquote gender war.
Mm.
But I think to me, I think there was just a little bit more to it. So I wanted to go ahead and just pull back some layers to the so-called gender war. And shout out to everybody in the chat room and everything. Good evening. So I wanted to start here. Let's peel back, one of the first layer that I pretty much thought it was very, very, important. Dad. Now, a lot of people will go ahead and contribute to situations because there's no fathers in the home. It's always us. It's always us, the ones that's missing. But then again, you have a lot of, other men, turn out fine who didn't have their dad around, but it doesn't mean that, he wasn't a necessity. The dad is always, I believe that you even mentioned that, your father was around and everything, right?
Yeah, my father, he was not there as consistently as he should have been, and which is his fault. He got to take 50 cents out that dollar, but also my mother moved us to North Carolina, and like I was like 10, so he kind of didn't have a chance. He was always in DC, and then she got remarried, and I had a stepfather. So my stepfather was there for primarily majority of the time throughout adolescence and early adulthood.
Okay, so there was a male figure there, pretty much.
Yeah, it was there. He was there, yeah. Yeah, my
All right,
stepfather was with us, yeah.
so let's talk about that male figure in this gender war. Peeling back the first layer. Does dad really, really make a difference?
Of course, the black man is essential. Just the gender war in mass. Some of the main propaganda for the gender war is to destroy the black man. And that goes back to slavery, of course. Destroying the black man. They targeted the black men first, as far as buck breaking, as far as even Willie Lynch making the woman the head, the leader. And that's because they understand the essentialness that men bring to balance the black family. You are the first, you are the leader. You're the head. So if you take that off, you snipe the head and just leave the body, you're going to be walking around in a literal sense, confused, or blind, because you don't have your leader there. So that's why the black man is always going to be the number one target, always has been the number one target. And it's also why they promoted, even in modern day, again, modern day Willie Lynch is pushing black women to be the head of the household, the breadwinners, the leaders. You just had punk ass Dwayne Wade talking about that his wife outworks him, and leads the family, looking like just sending the complete wrong message. And you see the outcome of his son, you know what I'm saying? And with messages he's pushing with that, so all of that is connected. The black man has to be there, it's a balance. And I see that even with I have modern friends who have more modern mindsets, and the ones who did not grew up with fathers there, I can see that they don't understand that balance. A lot of them will say things like, "Oh, yeah, my mom did a great job. She did a great job by herself." And I'm like, well, you're missing the fact that how much more you missed out of, you missed out on because your father wasn't there. That discipline, that sense of respect for men in general is what you get from your man. It's what you get when you start with your father. Your father is the first person you fall in love with, the first man you fall in love with. So if you're not taught that balance, if you're not taught that how to interact with the man, how to respect that discipline, if you're not getting that correction from your father first, it's going you're going to have struggles all the way going throughout your life. And I can even say this for myself, even though I had a stepfather, the fact that I did not have my actual father there for a long period of time consistently, it affected my view on men. It affected my interactions with men. Even my respect level for men. I was a masculina growing up. I was the type to argue with dudes, had a lot of guy friends. I was in we was freestyling at lunch and shit. I was that type of adolescent, growing up. And, I had a hard time being vulnerable with men because I was never able to learn that directly from my father. It was like I was just kind of forced because the way that, my mother got remarried, but the way that she got remarried was egregious. Like we kind of just moved in with this nigga out of nowhere because we got kicked out of my aunt's house. So we was really homeless for like a couple hours until this nigga just came, picked us up, moved us in, and then that was my stepdaddy. I was like, who the fuck is this nigga? So it took time for me to even start to respect him. And start to build that relationship with him. But because of that, it definitely affected my whole relationship with men in general. So yeah, black men, they're essential. You need your fathers in the household. They're essential.
let me go ahead and relate to a moment, for a moment here, because I married a single parent mother.
Mm.
When the daughter pretty much hit 4, which is pretty much that okay age, because anything before 4 is like, whoa, it's too young. Before that child can come, become very, very attached. Yeah. So, and I said this before. So anybody out there got a problem, with dating and wifing up single moms, this nigga did it.
Mm.
None of that blue pill shit, none of that simp shit. It was just time for a nigga to settle down because I've been fucking a lot. And so it was just time to park the goddamn brakes. And I actually talked about it in, on our Father's Day episode with Kev Hick. Shout out to Kev Hick. Y'all peeped that out in the Rawcast series there on IGTV. But yeah, I had to park the brakes. And it was interesting that you just told that story that pretty much one of the most, predominant men in your life just happened to be step. And I'm going to tell you, going back to that first layer. Being a dad, especially a black dad, is freaking hard. It is. Because the thing is, there really isn't too much good representation of us. And the thing is, I'm very traditional. So the thing is, I have to basically make sure I'm not a buffoon because a lot of black dads on TV are fucking, buffoons, or we're on some G shit, like Ghost.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, we're not really available. It's like you just can't get like a dope medium of a dad. You probably get the closest with Blackish, probably the closest.
And he's even goofy as hell. Yeah.
Exactly. We could go for Lincoln Heights, and it's like, but damn, he a fucking copy 5-0. But still, it's this is all we got.
Very
and
intentional too. That's part of gender war propaganda.
Yeah, which means a lot of us really need to stop fucking with TV altogether. Even Black as fuck, even though it was funny to me, sometimes we just kind of like take the break, pump the brakes on like TV and shit like that. And I'm gonna tell you something, being a freaking role model for a little girl is one of the most hardest things you can do because the thing is, I was already a reader, but I have to make sure that I know enough so I can game her up. And if I don't know the answer to what she's asking, then her and I gotta look the shit up together. It is goddamn work. Like all of this you see right here, it was here before marriage, but what I got up here is damn near for her. Mm-hmm. And then I fucked around and ended up having a son a year ago. So now it's like, great, America is gonna hate you. So now I got to go ahead and game you up in a whole nother different way and everything, like I said before. So it's tough on that shit. Is it overrated? As far as my position, no, it's not overrated, but it is challenging because of what I hear. Men are trash and shit. I got a 13-year-old girl that I keep that away from the shit. But I game her up on our little daddy-daughter days like, yo, this ain't going to be happening. Men are not trash. The right one's supposed to be protected. But let's go to layer number 2. We started with dad. Let's go to mom. We all know dad is not always going to be around. Because back then, dad got locked up. Dad got killed. Or we just don't know who dad is. Mom's was wild. It happens. We don't want to go ahead and put the blame and accountability on mom. I don't, because I think that's probably like a piece of the war there. But honestly, how many moms or how many friends of these moms that everybody know really haven't got on their necks about raising a responsible young man, in your opinion?
Are you asking me? You said how many young moms haven't got on their necks about raising responsible?
No, not how many young moms, but all the friends of it. All these mothers that have children all have friends. They do. Some of them probably are friends with other mothers who have children, right? Yeah. But how come there's like they don't share a story like, what? Let's calm down. Your son is getting wild. Check that shit before he becomes a menace to society. How come it doesn't seem like that's really happening? Like, raise him to be a good man. Put some men in his life that are like, really dope, that are like, that are prestigious, where he can learn something from them. But instead of him just watching Lil Wayne and rap music all, because that's where we learn our shit. We learn our shit from pop culture.
Yeah.
We're not in the barbershops no more. People got dreadlocks and braids and fucking we shave our heads. There's no more barbershop sermons no more, because barbershops was our summer camp. It's barely around anymore. But really, how come we don't see too many women getting on their friend that got the baby, who especially got a son, like, the son wilding out. You might have to go ahead and give us some infrastructure.
Well, I mean, I can say from my experience, as far as trying to speak to black mothers, black women in general, okay, we've been sold a dream that we can do this by ourselves. This goes back even to my first point, where some of my friends who have modern mindsets, they don't see the problems in how their mothers raised them without their fathers there, and the lack of balance, you know, that they did not have growing up. Okay, so even talking to Black women with children, I can say this for myself. I got sisters with kids. Okay, they can be some of the hardest to talk to sometimes. Okay, because they think they know it all. If I'm just being honest, you know what I'm saying? They feel like
I had a baby. You can't tell me shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I said. In general, Black women, it's hard for us. I mean, come on. Kevin Samuels, from Kevin Samuels to Monique to goddamn Ayala Van Zandt to Shahrazad Ali. Like you can't tell Black women shit. Okay, I mean, at this point, especially modern day Black women, leading up to this point, that we have not done anything but gotten worse as far as when it comes to modern mindsets. Okay, so when you talk about Black mothers, I mean, they double down on that. It's like, I'm a Black woman and bitch, I'm a mother. I've been doing this for 15 years, especially the older ones. I've been raising kids all my life. I ain't need no man. I've been doing it by myself. You know, if we being honest, a lot of them getting government assistance. A lot of them have family members that help. A lot of them have other resources that are actually helping them, that are kind of not even replacing, but are, you know, a secondary.
Nah, it's replacing. You were right the first time. It replaced it. You were right the first time.
What they use to replace men, you know. But they got into this mindset where they think they're like superwoman, you know, and they're so strong and so independent, you know, where they don't need a man, and that they've done everything by themselves, and now you just can't tell them a goddamn thing. It's very frustrating, even for myself with my own mother, you know, even having to confront her about things that I had, you know, some of the problems that I'm realizing now about growing up, like the fact that she moved us to North Carolina so abruptly, you know, because when she moved us, when she moved us to North Carolina, she didn't tell us we was moving. She told us that we was going down there. She lied to us. Told us we was going down there to visit my aunt. We ended up fucking getting enrolled in school and shit. I'm like, what the fuck am I?
Your mama said we taking a trip.
You know, and the only thing when I confront her about it is, oh well, your father was da-da-da, and I had to make the best decisions for me, and she crying and shit and getting loud, and it's like the conversation ain't going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for even hold them accountable. You know, and so I get it why even Black men coming to us, even the modern women who don't have children, coming to us trying to have simple conversations is hard. Because we've been groomed to believe that this entitlement, this sense of really selfishness is what we should have, is that everyone should be catering to us, you know, and we get that, we're in that matriarchal, especially because in the Black Americans specifically, we have this matriarchal setup for so long. A lot of our families, it's like, you can't tell us nothing. It's like she's kind of the replacement of we call inside a Black family big, like the big
mom, Nadia.
You know what I'm saying? Like Papa Bear. You know what I'm saying? Like it's supposed to be the grandfather who's the head. You know what I'm saying? The grandfather who has the final say. So who's like, you know, when I say shut the hell up, everybody stop talking. You know,
yeah, granddaddy.
Everybody hush, quiet down, and you know what I'm saying, listen to what he about to say. You know, but it's been a switch. You know, because of this gender, they blurred the lines, and now you got Black women in those positions where they feel like, when I say something, you shut the hell up. When I say something, it's the last word. When, you know, we're missing that balance, that masculine balance there. And we've kind of stepped further into that, trying to step into that masculine role instead of staying in our feminine and allowing our men to lead. And of course, again, a Black man is the number one target, so a lot of them couldn't be there. You know, whether that's jail, crack epidemic, fucking other things, you know, a bunch of other shit that they've been targeted by. But even the Black men that have been there, they haven't been allowed to really step fully into their masculine roles within our family, because Black women feel like we the fucking heads. You can't tell us nothing, you know, and it's so frustrating. It's so damn frustrating. That's why I really try to listen to brothers, because it's going to take some of us, I'm sorry, especially for the older generations, my mother, the aunties in my mother's generation, the grandmothers, like we're gonna let them, they gotta die off. If I'm just, that's the realest way I can put it. You know what I'm saying? We gotta fix the generational curses our goddamn selves. We have to forgive our parents ourselves. You know, we have to be step into that self-awareness and our femininity on our own, because I don't got that damn guidance. Okay, all my sisters had to figure out, to go through their feminine journeys really by themselves, because my mother wasn't the best example. You know, and neither was her mother, which I get it. I get why. But now it is up to us, our generation, the millennials, the Gen Zs, to show, kind of fix these generational curses on our own, because, you know, it's a lost cause at this point. You know, Shahrazad Ali tried to tell our mothers 30 fucking years ago. She tried to warn us. And they dragged her ass through the damn mud, literally. You know what I'm saying? All through the damn mud. She was just trying to tell them to self-reflect and look at the bullshit that you're doing, that you're causing your families to go through, you know? Simple things, okay? And we cannot accept that. Our mothers cannot accept that. So now they just have to take the consequences of their actions, which is dying alone, a lot of them, you know, which is having their daughters not having good relationships with them, their sons resenting them. These are things that are all built up from their actions and a lack of accountability that they're refusing to self-reflect and get into, because they think they're right and you can't tell them shit, you know? And so that's why I really just try to focus on the younger set of women and even the mothers that are willing to listen, because some of them, like, again, it's just, I'm not wasting my damn time. If you're not willing to listen, you're not for me. And everybody don't feel like that, but that's just how I feel. I'm not about to keep wasting my goddamn breath on your ass. You don't want to listen, don't listen. It is what it is. You can die alone or motherfucking go find a simple beta that's going to take your bullshit. But I'm trying to tell you, if you want a masculine male, an alpha male, or even just, again, a man in his masculine journey who's trying to be the leader of his household, he's not going to accept the bullshit that these modern women are, you know, trying to put them through this masculine role that they're trying to stay in. You have to step into your feminine. It's just point blank period. So, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. But it is what it is.
I got to peel back another layer. You brought up a doozy not too long ago. Earlier you mentioned you kicked it with dudes, rapping and shit. Most dudes were your friends, yada yada, you know. Regular Saved by the Bell shit, that's just how we were.
Yeah.
One of the layers I wanted to address was dating older. You was in OI, so you already know what Elijah said. Now, me personally, you know, because I'm not, you know, if any, you know, those in the room that know me, I speak for the good guy. That good dude is that dude that don't take shit. He's all about generational wealth, and he's always about committed relationships and family building. Period. That's who I represent. You know, nigga ain't never been locked up, never shot nobody, never got shot. Did I knock out a couple people? Way back when. Did I get knocked out? Never. But still. So some of us good dudes, you know, got a little edge. We're educated. Some of us just don't like going to bars and clubs all the goddamn time. Some of us just pretty much just grew up and said, we're kind of cool. We kind of want a relationship now. We like to just deal with like one chick. Question is now, individuals, you know, your age, the under 25, I always advocated go higher. Go to that 30 plus where a man is more established, but they get called too old and things of that nature until the woman actually hits their 30s and they just realize, oh God, I can't stand motherfuckers like my age and yada yada woo 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 woo. You know, so is it wise? Does it make a difference? And for anybody that's want to go ahead and say like older men are manipulative, men are not manipulative if you're not able to be manipulated. So let's just get that shit out of the way. I mean, somebody should have just gamed you up on that shit, but we'll talk about that shit later. Should you date older?
Your father will teach you that. Yeah.
Exactly. So would you advocate, you know, women your age to date up as far as age goes?
Absolutely. If they're yeah, especially if you're wanting, if you know what you want, and this is what I push, is dating intentionally. You know, if you know that you want to be a wife, you know that you want to have children. I mean, it's obvious that men reach or further into their prime when they're 30s. They've reached in their prime 30s, mid 30s, 40s. You know what I'm saying? So of course, even at 25, 24, if that's what you want, 23, 22, if that's what you want, that's probably where you should be, the age group you should be looking at, if we're being honest, you know? It's just, it is what it is. Men in their younger 20s are not financially there a lot of the time.
We ain't shit.
To be, I mean, they ain't there yet, you know? And usually they're not ready for that, to be in that role yet, you know what I'm saying? And I've seen it. I do see younger couples. I have friends who have boyfriends that are around their age, you know, and I love to see it. And I see the type of struggles they go through, though, because their men are still learning to be men. They're still stepping into their masculine role, you know, and especially the ones who don't have those mentors and strong father figures there. It's even harder because now they're trying to figure the shit out on their own, you know, and then you as a woman are trying to stay in your feminine, but it's hard because he may have been raised by a single mother or had a lot of female influence, and now he's back and forth between his masculine and feminine, and then that kind of forces you to be back and forth, be a feminine, masculine, and it's a tug and pull, you know, of power, because you know what you think you're right, he know he right, you know something, he knows something, he think it's something different, and it's a conflict of interest, you know. It makes things a little bit harder, you know, especially when you bring in children at such a young age. So And I'm not knocking that, you know, if you have a high school sweetheart, whatever the case may be, because it does work. You do have couples who have been together for years that started off in high school, started off in college. So I'm not knocking that either. But I am saying if you know what you want, then you should go after a man, you know, or allow men to approach you to come after you who already know what they want too. And that's usually when they get to their 30s, mid-30s, 40s, you know? So I'm not knocking that. And I don't think it's a creep thing. You know, just like you said, Elijah, you know, what did he say? Half your age plus 7. So, I mean, my nigga, you good. You know, you 20, 23, and you fucking with a 30, 35, like you're good. You know what I'm saying? That's usually up your alley. And even on a maturity level, a lot of the times, you may not be as mature as a man in his 30s or 35, you know what I'm saying, in his 30s or mid-30s, but you're probably a little ahead, you know, in a mature, more mature than somebody, a male in the 20s, 25. You know what I'm saying? They're probably still a little shaky about what they want, still trying to figure out. They may not be all the way in their purpose, you know? So, I mean, it just is what it is. If you know what you want, then go after that. You know, why are you wasting your time going on dates on Tinder? I mean, I see women all the time just swiping left, swiping right, having niggas in their DMs. It's like, what are you wasting your time? You so busy worrying about a hot girl summer, and then again, like you said, you fuck around, you get 30, and now you looking around like, where all the men at? Okay, but you hit the wall. You 30, you inching closer to 35, and you hitting the wall, you know, and the options of the dating pool is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And again, I got to put that back on Black women because a lot of our mothers didn't teach us that. Mine's being one of them. They did not put the importance on intentionally dating, you know, on it's okay to date an older man if that's what you want. You know what I'm saying? It's okay for you to be a mother. It's okay for you to not focus on school or not focus on a career. Focus on getting into your feminine, being in your feminine journey and trying to become a wife so you can attract a husband. Like, they do not put the importance on that. And that's because a lot of them chose not to be with our fathers, you know? So, yeah, but yeah, you definitely have to date intentionally. If you know what you want, 30s, 35, 40s, like, bruh, you're good. Women, you okay.
And I just want to say for the, you know, for if there's any ladies up in there, you know, 30 plus, no, this is not a jab. But I am about to break bro code, and I always break fucking bro code, and I hate doing it, but you know, I love y'all so much I have to break bro code. The only reason why a man in his 30s doesn't really want to date a woman in her 30s too is because you pretty much already set in y'all ways. You know, us, you don't want to learn from us. You know, you already think you know everything about relationships because you only dated 2 guys, so you already have an idea of what we're going to be. But when we end up messing with, like, if somebody, like, we'll just say the sweet spot is like 26, 25, 26 is usually the sweet spot. I'm her new experience. You know, she ain't been to Vegas. I was on my way to Vegas, and I'm 34, 35. Like, hey, I was just going to go down there. For what? Just to go? You want to come? Flight's on me.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, flight's on me. The MGM is on me. Hookah Lounge and the gondola boat ride at freaking the Venetia is on me. I become your experience. It's like, yeah, you ain't got to drop a dime because I got it. You know, this is my treat. And fuck y'all niggas who's on that don't be treating no girl no shit. But guess what, bro? I've been treating women all the damn time. A lot of us men, we love that. We love hearing from a woman, wow, this is so much fun. I have never had this much experience here. Like, this is a bomb feeling. And unfortunately, we hear that from somebody younger because all the women that are older in their 30s, y'all already got y'all road trip resumes. Unfortunately. Y'all done been there. Y'all already went to Essence Fest and got turned up at Bourbon Street. Y'all done already did it. Yeah, so we're looking for somebody who has never done it. And in a way, men like to be the hero. Let's go ahead and move on to, like, what I was dying to discuss. The high value man. Or do the ladies just want a high value trick? I'm going to be honest. We all watch Kevin Samuels. I mean, he live right now on the gram, and we all get the popcorn and we go in, we just waiting for somebody, that one chick to fuck up. You be thinking it's going to go smooth, and then it just goes downhill. It does. But real talk, a lot of these girls that call up, they don't really have anything to give. A lot of them are delusional and everything. But on my end, one girl did make a point. I can't remember who it was. It was from a while ago. Because she actually questioned, which is a good question, why so many these high value men? Why are they single? How come they're not married? And the argument was because these high value men can't find anybody. they can't find the fit, feminine, and friendly women. Zeze is the high value man sexy.
Of course, a high value man is. Oh, I'm not gonna say a high value man is.
Nah, I want you to actually think about that question for. Does the high value man have sex appeal? If there's so many single, unmarried men of value, got it going on. My ass makes 80 a year, married with 2. I ain't shit. The 1% unmarried. You know, he don't cheat. He exercises sexual options. What's the problem? Is the high value man sexy?
Well, yeah, of course, because women are attracted to resources and power, you know, in men, you know.
Does that make them sexy?
Yeah,
Does that make it
for a lot of women, that's gonna be that's gonna be the, even if they're not literally sexy on an attractive level, if they are considered a high value man, they're still going to have that appeal, you know, to women. They're going to be able to, you know, their dating options are going to flourish, to be honest, just from being in that position, because women are naturally hypergamous. So they're going to be attracted to that power, you know, within the man, regardless. You know, they'll take some of the other physical traits that they don't like, they dislike, just because of the position of power he's in. But yeah, you make a good point though, because a lot of women do not bring enough to the table, you know, or don't bring what high value men are necessarily looking for. Even just, I mean, shit, even average men, if we're being honest, they don't even got to be high value, you know, just your average everyday man or high earning man, you know, they're not bringing much to the table. And a part of that is because, again, their fathers wasn't there, you know, and even if their fathers weren't there, they may have not been high value men themselves, you know, they could have just been average men, as for the most of us have just grew up with just average ass fathers, average earning fathers, you know. And so we get wrapped up in this propaganda that we want a man that's making $100,000, $1 million, 500,000, these high, you know, earnings. And we forget the fact that you've never even met a man. You've never even been in a circle with a man of that caliber. You know, you don't even know how to talk to a man who's been to the places, who's as cultured, who's as, you know, disciplined, who's as, you know, structured as he is. You're not used to that. You don't even know where to begin to be with a man like that. But that's the number one thing your priority is. He got to be making $100,000 a year. And it's like your daddy been making $50,000, $60,000 your whole life. You know, your brother's only been making $20,000, $30,000. Your cousins is making less than that. You know, but you just think that you deserve this man who's making $100,000 after he's worked all his life and had to do all this shit, especially as a black man in America, you know, to get to the position he's at. That's a very small, what is it, like 5-10%, I think, of black men who actually make that percentage of money and up. So it's like it's
probably lower than that shit.
You just feel entitled to his resources. Baby girl, who the fuck are you? You know, who are you? You know, who do you think you are? You don't deserve it. You are not entitled to anyone's resources, and you should really check yourself to see what type of man that you really have been prepared for. Because a lot of times we have not been prepared for those type of men. Yeah.
Yo. So when did it get to the point where a come up? Where did it get to the point to where, like, fuck the love and shit. Fuck the fact that you could make me wet and horny. I just want your resources, Mr. High Value Man. Did we just, as black men, did our sex appeal just drop? What the fuck? No, I'm serious. Go ahead. I mean, you can give me your own personal, your own personal, anecdotal opinion, and then I want you to look at it as a broader, like, okay, what are the ladies really saying about us, high value or not?
Me personally, black men are the most attractive men on this planet. Specifically, black American men. I don't think nobody getting no finer than that. If I'm being honest, black men, I haven't seen any man compared to a black man, the most attractive black man I've seen. No race, group, ethnicity, none other than none other than black men. Like that ass. I'm going to marry a black man intentionally, not because only they fine as hell, but also just because we keep it in the family. But I think in general, though, also black women have kind of, although we have prioritized, and let me say, I'm not going to even include myself in this, modern black women have kind of prioritized the resources and, what a man can give to them, and how much a man can spoil. And although they have prioritized that, we have been kind of hypersexualized as well, you know. So the big dick energy, you know, the you know, I want a big strong man, and you know, like kind of hypersexualizing, over-sexualizing black men. That's actually been pretty bad, you know, and even to a point where it's like dominating men. You know, you get into like the Megan Stallions, the Cardi B's, and like where they're like most of their music is kind of pushing dominating men, you know, so it kind of surpasses the you find and I want to do this and that to you. Now it's like I'm going to do this and that to you. You gonna let that, like you ain't gonna let me. I'm gonna fucking make you do that. So it's like it's a little weird. It's a bit of it's masculine energy being pushed there when you see black women, especially even on the whole. I mean, I just did a reaction not too long ago from a girl who was talking about dating basically how she wanted to kind of dating like a man. You know, I'm a fucking nigga if I want to fucking nigga. I'm gonna go out with a nigga if I want to go out with. So there's this kind of masculine mindset where we think we can do whatever the fuck we want and fuck who we want to, and you know, go out who we want to, and then not reap the consequences of those actions. So I don't know, you know, it's like that's kind of, I'm kind of back and forth with that.
You DMV, right? Is that considered the South? Okay.
New Yorkers, but not
all right. Because it's interesting because, you know, down here, you know, I'm in Northern Cali. I'm in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Women be having their shit it's kind of covert. It's kind of on the low. So if they really like trying to take a nigga's clothes off with his eyes, you really can't tell. So you mean to tell me out there where you at, y'all just don't give a fuck. Y'all just like, that nigga will get it. I'm going to go throw it at him right now.
I mean, look, I done met some. I mean, I didn't, you know, that's when I got.
Oh, you was one of them. Look at you stuttering. Yeah, you was one of them. Yeah, you one of them catcalling girls. That nigga will get it. I'll be right back.
I've never been a type to approach. I've never been a type that. Nah, I ain't never been that type. But I will say, even myself, like I have videos I've taken down, you know, because they're too masculine. They're off brand now for me. But I had a video that was very popular called LDN. Lord, they talking about low dick niggas. It's on Patreon now because I don't want that shit out on the internet no more. But you can see it on Patreon. But you know, hypersexualizing men, focusing on, you know, again, the more sexual part of men, because that's what, you know, we've been kind of in a modern mindset. That's what women have been raised to believe, and just think that men is only there for sex and to buy you a damn Birkin bag, okay? Like that's the programming we've kind of been through, all right? And even within that, but I do understand what you're saying, because there has been, of course, a push on us within some modern black women, the whole divest movement, where they're trying to dating white men, trying to explore your options, you know, and they try to go to these other groups of men. So yeah, I can see that as well, but I don't know, black women, I don't know. We know y'all fight.